everyone! Welcome back to Story Hive. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Let's jump into today's story. I refused to invite my golden child brother to my wedding, so my parents threatened to cut me off. Then they tried to crush the wedding and got the biggest shock of their lives. I'm Sarah Thiertif, and I've always had a complicated relationship with my younger brother Mike 27. Growing up, our parents consistently favored him, which created a lot of tension between us. They would shower Mike with praise for even the smallest accomplishments while barely acknowledging my achievements. Our family dynamic wasn't always this way. When I was younger, before Mike was born, I remember feeling loved and supported by my parents. They would take me to the park, read me bedtime stories, and proudly display my artwork on the fridge. But everything changed when Mike arrived. From the moment he was born, it was clear that Mike was going to be the golden child. Our parents doted on him constantly, often neglecting my needs in the process. As we grew older, this favoritism only intensified. I vividly remember my 10th birthday. I had been begging for a bicycle for months, dropping hints, and even leaving magazine clippings around the house. When the big day came, I eagerly unwrapped my presents, only to find clothes and books. My parents explained that a bike was too expensive. Just 2 weeks later, they surprised Mike with a brand new bike for no particular reason. When I asked why he got one and I didn't, they said, "Mike needs more exercise, you're fine without one." This pattern continued throughout our childhood. When I made the honor roll in middle school, my parents barely glanced at the certificate. But when Mike got a B on a single test, they took the whole family out for a celebratory dinner. The disparity in how we were treated became even more apparent as we entered our teenage years. When I was 16, I got my first part-time job at a local bookstore. I was thrilled to finally have my own source of income and started saving for college. However, my excitement was short-lived. Mike, then 13, complained to our parents that it wasn't fair that I had spending money while he didn't. Instead of encouraging him to wait until he was old enough to get his own job, our parents made an outrageous demand. They insisted that I give Mike half of my earnings each month. I was shocked and tried to protest, but they threatened to make me quit the job if I didn't comply. Reluctantly, I agreed, watching half of my hard-earned money go to my brother, who spent it frivolously on video games and junk food. This incident set a precedent. Throughout high school, he would regularly borrow my belongings without asking: clothes, electronics, even my car once I got my license. If I dared to complain, our parents would lecture me about the importance of sharing with my brother. They never seemed to consider that Mike should learn to respect other people's property. Despite the constant favoritism, I worked hard in school, hoping that academic success might finally earn me some recognition from my parents. When I got accepted to my dream college with a partial scholarship, I was over the moon. I rushed home to share the news, envisioning a proud reaction from my parents. Instead, they gave a lukewarm response, saying, "That's nice, honey," before quickly changing the subject to Mike's latest football game. In contrast, when Mike got into a local community college a few years later, our parents threw him a lavish party. They invited the entire extended family, ordered catering, and even hired a live band. As I watched them celebrate Mike's mediocre achievement, I couldn't help but feel a mix of hurt and resentment. The final straw came during my sophomore year of college. I had been saving up for months to buy a high-quality camera for my photography class. Photography had become my passion, a creative outlet that helped me cope with the stress of my family situation. I had researched extensively and finally found the perfect camera that fit my budget. I came home for winter break, excited to finally make my purchase. But when I went to get my savings, I discovered that a significant amount was missing. I soon found out that Mike had taken the money without permission to buy a new gaming console. When I confronted him, he shrugged it off, saying I could just save up again. Our parents refused to make him return the console or pay me back, dismissing my distress with the casual, "You should have hidden your money better." This incident was the breaking point for me. I realized that no matter what I did, I would never be a priority in my family. After that, I distanced myself as much as possible. I took on extra jobs to support myself. When I did, Mike would make snide comments about how I thought I was too good for the family now. Our parents never corrected his behavior, often joining in with comments about how I had changed and become cold towards them. Despite the emotional toll, I managed to graduate with honors and secure a good job in marketing. It was at my new job that I met Jake 30 Twom, who would become my rock and biggest supporter. We've been together for 5 years now, and he's been incredibly understanding about my family situation. Jake's own family is warm and welcoming, showing me what healthy family relationships should look like. 6 months ago, Jake proposed during a surprise weekend getaway. It was a magical moment, and I was thrilled to start planning our future together. However, the joy of our engagement was quickly overshadowed by the dread of dealing with my family during the wedding planning process. After much discussion and soul-searching, I decided not to invite Mike or my parents to the wedding. I want our special day to be filled with love and positivity, not overshadowed by the negativity and resentment that has characterized my relationship with my family. Last week, my mom called me in tears, demanding to know why they hadn't received wedding invitations yet. I took a deep breath and explained that, given our history, I didn't feel comfortable having them at the wedding. She accused me of being selfish and trying to punish them, completely dismissing my feelings as usual. My dad then got on the phone, saying I was breaking Mike's heart by excluding him from such an important day. Apparently, Mike had been telling everyone he was going to be my best man, despite the fact that we've barely spoken in years. The audacity of his assumption left me speechless. I stood my ground and told them my decision was final. This led to Mike blowing up my phone with angry texts calling me every name in the book. He accused me of being jealous of him and trying to make myself feel important. It was as if he had completely rewritten our childhood in his mind, casting himself. My parents are now threatening to cut me out of their will if I don't invite them all to the wedding. This threat might have worked years ago, but I've long since stopped expecting or wanting anything from them. Jake fully supports my decision, understanding how toxic my family dynamic is. He's offered to handle any further communication with them to shield me from their manipulation tactics. Some of my friends, however, have suggested that I should just invite them to keep the peace. They argue that I might regret it if I don't have my family at my wedding. Their words have planted a seed of doubt in my mind. Am I being too harsh? Should I give them one last chance? But then I remember all the hurt and disappointment, and I'm reminded of why I made this decision in the first place. I know this post is long, but I felt it was important to provide context for why I'm making this choice. So Reddit, AITA for refusing to have my brother and parents at my wedding. Update 1. Thank you all for the overwhelming support on my original post. Your comments and messages have been a source of strength. I wanted to provide an update on the situation as there have been several developments over the past couple of weeks. After discussing things further with Jake, I decided to stand firm in my decision not to invite Mike or my parents to the wedding. However, Jake suggested that meeting with them in person to explain my reasoning might provide some closure for all of us. Although I was hesitant, I agreed it was worth a try. We arranged to meet at a neutral location, a quiet cafe in a neighboring town. I arrived with Jake, feeling a mix of anxiety and determination. My parents and Mike were already there. My mom's eyes were red from crying, and my dad wore his signature disapproving frown. Mike surprisingly looked more subdued than I expected. As soon as we sat down, my mom launched into a tearful monologue about family loyalty and how I was tearing everyone apart. My dad interjected with comments about how ungrateful I was being. I let them speak, taking deep breaths to stay calm. When they finally ran out of steam, I calmly explained my position. I brought up specific instances of how they had hurt me over the years, including the camera incident and the constant favoritism. I told them that while I cared about them, I didn't feel we had the kind of relationship. To my shock, Mike spoke up. He admitted that he had intentionally broken my camera back in college. He confessed that he had always felt insecure about my academic success and resented that I was leaving him behind by going to college. He said he wanted to bring me down a peg to make himself feel better. The table fell silent after this revelation. Our parents seemed stunned, as if they were seeing our dynamic clearly for the first time. My mom tried to smooth things over, saying, "Well," but I wasn't convinced. I told them that while Mike's admission was a step towards understanding, it didn't change the years of hurt and disappointment I felt. I reaffirmed that my decision was final, and I wasn't interested in further discussion. Since that meeting, my parents have ceased their threats and have been somewhat more distant. Mike has been sending sporadic apologies, but the relationship remains strained. Jake and I are focusing on planning our wedding and looking forward to our future. I'm still uncertain about the right course of action, but your support has been invaluable. Thank you for listening and helping me navigate this difficult situation. Update 2. After my last update, things have remained relatively stable, though not without ongoing challenges. I want to share how things have unfolded since that meeting with my family. In the weeks following our CUF meeting, my parents' behavior shifted slightly. They stopped the overt threats and have been more reserved in their communications with me. They did, however, send a large gift basket to congratulate us on our engagement, accompanied by a card that read, "We're always here for you no matter what." While the gesture was a step in the right direction, it felt more like an attempt at damage control rather than a genuine reconciliation. Mike has continued to reach out with apologies, and his messages have been more frequent since the meeting. He's expressed remorse for his past actions and has tried to take responsibility for his part in our family dynamic. He's even asked if we could find a way to rebuild our relationship. His efforts have been mixed, sometimes heartfelt. Other times it feels like he's trying too hard to make amends without fully understanding the depth of the impact his actions had on me. As for the wedding planning, Jake and I have been focusing on creating a day that reflects our love and the life we want to build together. We've been enjoying the process and are thrilled with how things are coming together. Our friends and extended family, who have been supportive from the beginning, have been instrumental in making this a joyful and stress-free experience. We've been getting positive feedback from those invited, and it's reassuring to know that our choices are being respected and understood. One of the biggest challenges has been managing my emotions around the wedding. I still find myself grappling with the idea of not having my parents and Mike there, especially during moments of reflection and planning. However, whenever doubts creep in, I remind myself of the years of hurt and the reasons behind my decision. The support from Jake and my friends has been a grounding force, helping me stay focused on what's truly important, celebrating our love and moving forward with positivity. I've also been in touch with a therapist, which has been incredibly helpful. It's allowed me to work through my feelings about my family, the wedding, and how to navigate future interactions with them. I'm learning to set boundaries that are healthier for me and to find closure in this chapter of my life. Looking ahead, Jake and I are excited about our future together. We're planning a honeymoon that we hope will be both relaxing and adventurous. It feels like a fresh start, and despite the complications with my family, I'm optimistic about what's to come. We've been discussing ways to balance our time with family and build a new life that honors our values and happiness. I want to thank everyone again for the support and advice you've given. It's been a difficult journey, but your encouragement has made a significant difference. I'll keep you updated on any new developments, but for now things are looking hopeful, and I'm excited to embrace this new chapter with Jake. Thank you all for being a part of this journey with me. Thanks for tuning in to today's Reddit story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more amazing stories. See you next time.